So, if you're ready, tell me about the raid, tell me about bringing that boss, and take this away.
Thank you, Firebird. Hello, I'm Scooby Foo, and welcome to the inbounds run of Vault of Glass. Our runners are Boujin, Crazy Totem, Lord Shax, Mr. Chowtime, Shockwave, and Tokiki. Now, there won't be any wacky out-of-bounds stuff like you might see in some other runs, but there is still plenty of fun movement, and it's a really good showcase of a classic Destiny raid. Now, as everyone's loading in here, though, I would like to start explaining something. You're gonna see Shockwave move really, really fast in a couple of parts, and that's thanks to a trick the community has dubbed Shatter Skating. Basically, when you swing a sword, you lunge forwards a little bit, and the sword Shock is using has a perk that gives it a really, really fast lunge. Now, by interrupting that sword lunge with a specific ability, you can stop the game from slowing you down at the end of the lunge, if that makes any sense. And that, as soon as Shock hits the red button here, is going to result in this. Oh, okay, as soon as he hits it, it's gonna... Come on. There we go. Results in him flying across the entire arena. So you're gonna see that in a few spots during this raid. Now, we're in the opening encounter here. Destiny raids love to have little mini encounters at the very beginning. This one is very simple. There are 3 control points spread across this area. You stand on them to capture them, and once all 3 are captured, a large spire in the middle begins building. You can kind of see the outline of it there. When that when that spire is fully built, there's a large door at the back of the area that will open, and we'll be able to get into the raid proper. There is only really one way to speed this part up, and that is getting on the plates as soon as possible. So that Shatter Skate at the beginning wasn't just for style, though it is very stylish. Because of that, you can kind of goof around during this part, so long as you don't let the plates get recaptured. Shock, for example, could just, go play Minecraft or something if he wanted to. So there isn't too much more to explain. Luckily, this part of the raid isn't very long. Looks like the spire's about 3/4, maybe 2/3 done.
And this is one of the earliest raids ever, correct?
Yes, this is a reprised version of the raid, but back in Destiny 1, this was the very first raid introduced to the game. I can't say I was playing at that point, but I understand it was, I don't know if revolutionary is the right word, but it was very important for the longevity of Destiny 1. And they did a great job bringing it into Destiny 2. There were some changes, I probably won't have time to point them out, but some changes have been made to the encounters since Destiny 1. And it's a really fun raid. Alright, so the door's open. That's good. Now, you're gonna see Shock just getting on a sparrow to get through this part. And coming up here is gonna be another Shatter Skate. Hopefully he hits it first try, and he does. This one, you get 2 in a row. Nope. I think he's gonna try to make it. I don't know if he's gonna... Okay. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't sure if he could recover from missing that Shatter Skate. But with that, we're in 2 Confluxes, the first real encounter of the raid. Now, this encounter, it consists of 3 rounds of tower defense. There's only a couple things to worry about. There are towers at the back of the area. Right now there's just one. And all the Vex, the enemies that are spawning, are all trying to walk towards that tower. If they get to it, they're going to start a sacrifice animation. You can see Shock shooting at it there. They'll start a sacrifice animation, and if enough Vex, or one of the big Vex, manages to sacrifice to that pillar, everyone dies. So objective number 1 is not letting that happen. Now, we'll be able to tell when a wave is over, because the one conflux at the very back of the area will disappear, and then 2 more will appear on the 2 side areas. That's, something we can worry about a little bit later. The only other real mechanic there is to explain here is Marked for Negation and Ritual of Negation. There are some headless, kind of suicide bomber style enemies that, when they die, explode and leave piles of Vex goop, data, something on the ground. And if you step into those, you'll get the debuff Marked for Negation. Now, you may have just noticed there the text popping up near the middle of the screen, Ritual of Negation. That's coming from the Templar at the back of the arena. We'll be killing him later. As you might guess, if you are marked for negation, when Ritual of Negation happens, you die. Luckily, there is that glowing pool in the center of the area, which can be used to cleanse yourself of the debuff. However, that only has so many uses, so it's best to not get marked in the first place. Now, I believe we are about done with the first wave here. I don't know how Shock didn't get marked there. Yep, so I can see wave 2 is starting there. The 2 confluxes have appeared at the side. And I don't think there's too much more to this encounter. It really is just kill stuff and don't die. This is, I think, the second of 3 encounters that don't have too many ways to be sped up, unfortunately.
Do any of these runners have specific roles in this fight, or in any of the fights?
So not really in this encounter. All of them split up into 3 teams of 2 just to cover all the spawn doors. Because you can sort of think of this area as having like 3 lanes that enemies spawn down. So they split up to cover all those, but aside from that, everyone is just kind of killing stuff. On the Legend version of the raid, that isn't too much of an issue, but there are Master versions of raids in this game that are a higher level and a lot harder. And this is a very tense encounter on those versions. Whereas here it's a bit more casual. There is one thing they'll be doing at the very end of the encounter that I'll point out. But until then, just kill the enemies as they come up. And don't let Templar see you, he does a lot of damage.
Whoa, hello.
Yes, that...
We just got 10 gift subs from the Wayfaring Fox.
Oh, nice.
Thank you so much, Wayfaring Fox. And just as a reminder, people, those gift subs all subs do go towards Trans Lifeline during the marathon. Sorry, keep going, Scooby.
No worries. I actually thought you were referring to something else when you said whoa, so I got nothing to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you guys...
That's a new guy.
Yeah, so those are wyverns. That's one of the 2 bigger enemies, and it looks like... Okay. So they're at the end of the encounter now. Now, for whatever reason, Destiny servers have been a little bit funky recently. And they're going to stop killing stuff. You might have noticed all of the confluxes have disappeared. So they're going to stop killing things now. Because you can think of a lot of things that happen in this game as kind of events. Getting XP, getting loot, the end of an encounter. And recently, there's been a bit of an issue with the end of some encounters where if you kill a lot of stuff and, you know, you're picking up a lot of, like, Glimmer, the game's sort of basic currency, for whatever reason, it can, like, stack up events. It doesn't clear them fast enough. And so that can delay the end of the encounter. Which is why they're just letting stuff shoot at them. They're hoping that by doing that, the encounter will end faster. Though it seems it's not being too kind to them right now.
Okay.
It is
Hey, chat. We got a hype train going.
Ooh.
I trust you all to do what's right. Give subs if you can. Give donate bits if you can. Just share the hype if you can't.
Even a message is, you know, it's always enough. The encounter this is a much longer delay than I ever saw during practice. I think they're going to try killing a couple high-value targets that had spawned. I think those might have been delaying the end of the encounter. Let's see, that should be the last Ritual of Negation from Templar. For an example of how bad this gets sometimes, I mean, you can see here. But the general speedrun community for Destiny has started just pausing the timer while this happens, because it's completely outside of your control, and it adds nothing to the run to have that affect your total time. Alright, but luckily it's over. So we're going to be moving on to Oracles now. In between the two encounters there, Shock, Lord Shax, and Chow Time swapped to Xenophage. Xenophage you can think of as a hit-scan rocket launcher that is also a machine gun. It is as ridiculous as it sounds. As for the Oracles themselves, they're those blue-ish looking things, more cyan in my opinion. I think they're spawning again there. So they're going to spawn in 4 total waves, starting at 3 Oracles per wave, ending at 7. They spawn in a pattern that they preview twice, and then they all spawn in at once on the 3rd wave, where you can actually shoot them, and they actually messed up the order there on accident. So when they show up the 3rd time, you're actually able to shoot and destroy them. However, you have to do it in the order that they previewed the first 2 times. Otherwise, as you saw there, everyone gets marked for negation, and you have to kind of make a mad dash to that center pool before Templar spawns in and goes, "Hey everyone, I'm going to do a ritual of negation." So, there are 7 total spots that the Oracles can spawn in, meaning on the last wave, there will be an Oracle in every possible spot. There we go, that was a good cycle. Shock is covering most of the spots, with Chow Time covering one that's far sort of in the back of the area on the left, and I believe Lord Shax and Bujin, I believe, covering 2 spots on the right. So I believe they're on the second to last wave of Oracles now. So you can see everyone just kind of knows where they are in the pattern, who has to shoot what. It's very satisfying to see. Now, so as we move on to the last wave of Oracles here, I have to start explaining the next encounter now. Otherwise, I'm not going to have time. So after this encounter is the Templar fight. You've been seeing him in the back of the area this whole time. He's been the guy doing the rituals of negation. So now it's time to kill him. He's too annoying. Gotta get rid of him. So, to quickly explain what a rally flag is, it is a thing that you can place down and interact with before an encounter starts to get full full ability energy and full ammo. Now Shock is going to use that same sword that he's been using to zoom around the area to displace the flag as he's placing it. Oh, looks like I might have been off by one wave. They're definitely... Okay, yeah, that's definitely last wave now. So, Shock is going to be using that sword to displace the flag, as usually you have to place them in a specific spot. And he's going to get it as close to that center pool as he can. As to start the next encounter, there's a relic that you have to pick up. And that relic is very important. The super ability that you gain while holding that relic is used to break a shield that the Templar has that prevents you from doing damage normally. So you can see he bumped into someone. I think they're gonna go for it. I've seen them get it from here before. Yeah, it looks like they're going for it. So by rallying to the flag and picking up the shield, okay, they're gonna do it normally. So what they were trying to do there is by getting the rally flag close enough to the relic that you pick up, you can rally to the flag and pick up the shield while the game is still giving you ability energy, allowing you to skip this section where you have to kill oracles and letting you break the shield of the Templar immediately. So it shaves off a good probably 20-ish seconds of the fight. As you can see, they're doing damage now. Shock has a shotgun on that makes the boss take more damage, and you may let your awoos out as everyone else is using Lord of Wolves. And the encounter's already over. There is not a whole lot of time for that one, which means we're moving on to Gorgons. And some more Shatter Skates, which you always love to see.
Very impressed with your ability to keep up with what's going on here.
I've had to cut out a lot. So, Shock is moving on to Gorgons here, which there isn't too much to mention. It is just a maze. Luckily, the layout of it is predetermined, so Shock already knows the way to get through. Notably, everyone else has left the fire team. This is for a couple of reasons. Number one is just the more people you have in a maze, the easier it is to get caught by these harpies flying around, the Gorgons. If you get caught by them, everyone in the team dies. Now, for whatever reason, you can run right by these three. It's just something with the cycles. If you run forward almost as fast as possible, they're just looking in the right direction, and you can run right by them. It's very goofy. So that's reason number one that everyone else had to leave. The more people you have there, it gets a lot harder to get through without someone getting spotted, especially if you're trying to go through as fast as possible. And we are now getting to reason number two, which is this door. As this door requires everyone in the fire team to be here. And if Shock is the entire fire team, then only Shock has to be at the door. So now that that's open, everyone's going to be joining back in. I believe Shock is going to start the encounter and die immediately. That is to wipe and make sure that everyone spawns right before the encounter and not further back in the raid. While they do that, I'm going to drink some water really quick.
You and me both.
Don't forget to keep hydrated.
Just to note, this hype train is still going on in chat.
Nice. I can see Wayfaring is helping a lot. So thank you to them. So, we're in Gatekeeper now. Now, the simplest way to think about Gatekeeper is sort of a game of hot potato. At the very beginning there, Shock threw his super at a Gatekeeper, they're not too important as they die instantly whenever they spawn. But you can see that Toki and Bujin have opened 2 portals there. Those are portals to the past and future versions of this room. Now, in those rooms are enemies and a conflux, much like the confluxes back in the encounter itself. The enemies are walking towards the conflux. If they get to sacrifice, everyone dies. Now, the reason this is a game of hot potato is because of the relic. Nice exotic drop. So you can see Chow Time is passing the relic off to Shock here, and Shock is going to have to enter the future version of the room to kill a special shielded enemy that can only be killed by the relic. You can see he's running it up to here. Now, this relic is the hot potato, as Shock has to pass it off to Chow Time so that Chow Time can take it out and back into the present. Now, the reason he has to do that is because whenever you teleport to the past, present, or future while holding the shield, you get the teleport destabilized buff for 45 seconds that prevents you from going through the portals. So Chow Time has also had to pass the shield off to Toki, who's now going into the, I believe this is the past version he's gone to. And there should be the special shielded enemy spawning right there. So then he's going to kill it, pass it off to Lord Shax. Hot potato. I believe they have 3 or 4 more cycles of this, I want to say. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to mention right now. After a certain amount of cycles, there will be a conflux spawning in the present version of the room, at which point everyone has their teleport destabilized debuff that has that cleansed off of them, and they all have to defend that center conflux. But yes, it looks like I think 2 more cycles of shielded enemies remaining until that happens. If you have anything to say, Firebird, now would be a pretty good time.
Don't currently have any donations. Once again, I think everyone is just enraptured by this run. But do want to remind everyone that we are currently just $96 away from unlocking that bonus game, Skyrim Race, with both players playing as Khajiit. So if you want to see that, and I can't imagine why you wouldn't want to see that, now is the time to donate. Yeah, it doesn't happen till like 6, but come on, make my day. I'm not here with you much longer, folks. Please, donate to that.
I mean, 2 cats racing against each other? How could you miss that?
Oh, and just as I said something, we got a donation, an anonymous donation, for $50. Did it go towards that? And it did. It went towards unlocking the Skyrim. So
Nice.
Thank you to the to Anani Mouse, and we're that
So,
much closer.
Back to the run, you can see the conflux has spawned in the present version of the room. They are currently dealing with the... there's 4 total waves that you have to defend here. There's a shielded Minotaur in the first 3, but they always spawn in the same spots, so you can just kind of spawn camp them with the relic. The final wave should be spawning now. It's 3 of those big wyvern things you saw back in confluxes. They fall over pretty quickly, as you can see here. Which means we are moving on to Atheon, times conflux, the final boss. Now everyone's going to be switching their loadouts here. Everyone is going to be focusing on doing as much damage to the boss as possible, as when the damage phase starts, they're going to have 30 seconds to kill him. Now that they've started the encounter, after a short amount of time, the boss, Atheon, the dude in the middle there, is going to be teleporting 3 random people into either the past or future version of the room. Now, when they get teleported there, they're going to have to communicate to the 3 remaining people in the present which area they got teleported to, so that someone from the present can open the portal so they can, get out of there. And at the same time as that's happening, in the present, 3 red oracles will start spawning in the sky. These oracles work mostly the same as the ones from the oracles encounter itself. That is to say, they preview their pattern 2 times, and then the 3rd time they show up and you have to destroy them in the right pattern. You can see them showing up here. Now, the twist is that the 2 previews happen in the present, where the 3rd wave that you destroy them in happens in the past or future. So the people who did not get teleported have to communicate the pattern of oracles to the people who did get teleported, because if you kill them in the wrong pattern, or if you fail to kill them in time, there's no marked for negation or anything, you just die. Just everyone dies.
Yikes.
Yeah. So it's very important that they get that across. And you can also see the relic has made another appearance. Well, in the past or future, you are marked by the void, which slowly kills you, if not cleansed by the shield bearer, the relic bearer, blocking every now and then. Now they're about to start damage here, and as you can see, during damage they have supercharged abilities. Like, their grenades are coming back right after they throw them, supers come back in 20 seconds, they're going to be unloading all those, all their rockets, fusions, grenades, just everything they can to kill Atheon within the 30 seconds here. Atheon does have a detain mechanic that you saw there that's important to keep track of, but there's not even time to talk about it. The raid's over. That is time. And that was Vault of Glass.
Wow, good game.
Good game indeed.
Did that include a final boss, or is there another one?
Nope, that was the final boss.
Okay.
Now, I did have... I was given a list of special thanks, though I think we hit an incentive, didn't we, to burn another raid boss down.
Yeah, that's what I was asking about.
Right. So, I guess I'll hold off on the special thanks for now. Everyone's going to be switching over to the Titan class for a specific ability that they have. And we're going to be burning Riven down real quick. Now, Riven is considered by a lot of people to be one of the best raid bosses in the game. She has some really in-depth mechanics. If you ever play Destiny yourself and you haven't done Riven legit, I would highly suggest you try to find a group that's willing to do her legit. She is super fun. We're going to be skipping every single mechanic that she has. All of them. Now, there's a Titan ability on a Stasis. It's a Icy Darkness subclass. And it's the super ability, actually, that we'll be using to just kill her and ignore every mechanic. When you're in super, you can use a heavy attack that will spawn, I believe, 6 crystals in a pattern in front of you. Now, these crystals, if spawned under certain enemies, will instantly shatter, dealing a pretty good amount of damage. And, so Riven is a dragon, a wish dragon, which means she is quite large. And I think they're all just setting up here, getting everyone loaded in. So you're going to see something very interesting once everyone's loaded in.
Guardian down.
Until then,
Guardian down.
wah wah.
So we got a small delay here.
A small delay, a little bit of downtime.
All right. Well, I got quick donation here
Go ahead.
from Tammy for $25. Says Charmander must be Andy. And of course that went to the incentive to name Charmander Andy.
Makes sense. Alright, so it seems everyone's loaded in now. So, once they all get on some plates here to start the encounter, they're gonna float down. And, everyone, say hello to Riven. She's, very big. Very, very big. So now, normally Riven, goes to one of two rooms, and, I'm gonna be honest, I don't understand her mechanics well enough to explain them. Luckily, I don't have to. So at the back of the room here, you're gonna see that, dark panel. And let's see, it looks like Riven did come to this side. So normally Riven will come to one of two sides. If she doesn't come to the side that everyone goes to here, there is a spot in the room you can stand that is a joining allies zone. What that means is it basically teleports you to a predetermined spot to get you unstuck. However, the unstuck... the zone extends too far into the area, so you can just stand in it. And luckily, where it teleports you to allows you to get to the other side that Riven can spawn on, if she doesn't spawn here. That was not needed this time, as Riven did show up to the right area. So, Riven should be showing up any second now. You can see Shock has tractor cannon on, the same shotgun he was using to make bosses take more damage before. Everyone's gonna be petting their dogs. And, alright, Riven's showing up, so you can see everyone's entering their super. Shock's gonna make sure she's debuffed. And you can just watch the health bar drop. And so yeah, that's one of the best bosses in the game. Killed in... what was that, 5 seconds? 10 seconds? The fight isn't quite over yet. Riven does have a final stand mechanic. When you get her down to, I believe, about 10% health, she'll send you into here, where you have to do a bit of platforming while slowly losing health. And once someone gets to the top, everyone will get teleported out, and it'll be time to finish her off. Nope, if Shock doesn't fall into the abyss. Luckily, only one person does have to make it up. So there we go. Riven's gonna show back up here. And we're not quite done yet with Riven. Her health bar may be empty, but Ahamkara, Wish Dragons, they're special. They like to live on after death, so we have to... I don't want to describe what just happened there. They have to shoot Riven's heart, otherwise it still kills them even though she's dead. And that is Riven. Again, that boss... you're meant to interact with a mechanic to deal the bulk of damage to her.
Fetch the heart. Hurry.
There's normally like a lot that goes on in that fight. Again, I cannot stress enough, if you play Destiny 2 and you haven't done legit Riven, go find a group that does it.
Well, and
But yeah.
well, good game, and I have so I have a donation that apparently has to happen right now. It's from Oasis for $10, and it just says, "I just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you." But I think you have some shout-outs from all the runners that you want to give?
Yes, I have a list of special thanks I got from all the runners here. Let me find it real quick. There we go. Alright, so from everyone, we would like to thank Fastest Furs and Trans Lifeline, of course. And Crazy Totem would like to thank Lydia, his partner. Bougine and Shax would like to thank Carlos and Nico, who are their sons, and Bougine's family. I believe they're watching right now, actually. Chow Time would like to thank the group for coming together for this, and a thank you to me for commentating. Thank you. And I would like to thank Shock for inviting me to commentate this run, and I would like to thank Fastest Furs for accepting a Destiny run. I always love to see these things happen, and even more so if I get to be a part of it. And I guess a final shout out from all of us is to, Balto's Buds, our Destiny clan. I've met a lot of very cool people through it.
Well,
And I think that's all I have to say.
that was amazing. Thank you, Scooby Foo, and of course, thank you, runners, Tokigi, Mr. Chow Time, Shockwave, Lord Shax, Bojin, and Crazy Totem, all for an amazing run. I appreciate you just did an amazing job, and we all appreciate it. And now I am coming to the end of my hosting shift for the day, and I just have a quick few announcements that I have to make.